I felt for a team in the Premier League where Tottenham were with their aspirations, I felt that the performance was unacceptable. I felt that the players, that there was, you've got to walk into the teams like Stevenage and say, we're here, we're going to finish the job off first time. They didn't do that. Okay, I know the FA magic of the FA Cup, etc. And what about the second game when Stevenage scored? You know, I just felt that there was the alarm bells were ringing in those two games.
Well, I think when they conceded those 2 goals against Arsenal before half-time, when they were 2-0 up at Arsenal, and then Arsenal came back, I think that's where it went.
They knew what was about to happen, didn't they?
Possibly. Who knows? Barclays Premier League, Arsenal and Chelsea drew 0-0. Aston Villa and Sunderland drew 0-0. Blackburn beat Norwich 2-0. Bolton and Swansea 1-1. Fulham beat Wigan 2-1. And Newcastle won again. They beat Stoke by 3 goals to 0. QPR against Tottenham is about 30 seconds away from kicking off, and we'll keep you up to date with that one and the Southampton one. They're 1-0 up at Middlesbrough. It's LBC 97.3 and the time is 5:30. Here with the latest news headlines is Zora Suleiman.
Thanks, Ian. Protesters are continuing to call for tomorrow's Formula One Grand Prix in Bahrain to be called off after reports a demonstrator was found dead near the scene of clashes between protesters and police. The country's opposition party claims the man was killed as human rights activists fought the authorities on the outskirts of the capital, Manama. Bahrain's Interior Ministry has tweeted saying the police are investigating the man's death. William Hague has tonight hailed the UN Security Council's decision to step up its monitoring of the volatile ceasefire in Syria. The Foreign Secretary said the move, which could see the number of observers boosted from 30 to 300, increased pressure on the regime to reform. But Hague has reiterated his concerns that President Bashar Assad's government was still not abiding by its commitments to under the peace deal. Police are appealing for witnesses following a serious assault in Haringey this morning. A man believed to be in his 30s was found by officers on patrol with a head injury and remains in a critical condition in hospital. A 29-year-old man has been arrested. And a list of fun runners with no chance of crossing the finishing line first in tomorrow's 32nd London Marathon are still hoping to get their names in the record books. Over 100 people are attempting various records, ranging from the fastest hula hooping athlete to the one with the tallest costume. David Lawrenson from Lancashire is dressing in a 24-foot version of the Blackpool Tower. And London's weather tonight, a chance of showers, but mainly dry, lows of 5. Right now at the Tower of London, it is 13 degrees. LBC 97.3, it's 5:31.
97.3. Call 0845 6060973 for scores.
And we like your marathon stories, not ones that go on and on and on like Neil's. We want them stories about running the London Marathon or otherwise. Oh, come on, take a joke.
Oh, okay. No, as long as it's a joke. Okay,
We're
yeah.
going to take some stories. 08456060973. I'm ribbing you. 08456060973. Neil is a serious runner. For everyone out there, does anyone out there have they beaten his time of 3:0? What was it?
I'm sure lots of people. Matt Lawton beat my time. He's 2:56.
They're getting too serious. This is serious charity running standards. You should be journalists.
3:10:30 to beat.
Okay, 3:10:30. Can anyone? What's the slowest time that anyone's ever done? Maybe you were that man that did the marathon in the underwater diving suit. Amazing. In the meantime, before we go to some of our callers with some stories about the London Marathon, we've all got them. I want to consider another match that's kicking off. I think it's in half an hour's time, don't they? In an hour's time, don't they? They kick off in the new camp. It's Barcelona against Real Madrid. It was 10-point gap between Real Madrid and Barcelona. Now it's down to 4. This is the last time they'll play each other in the league anyway. And then, of course, Barcelona got the second leg on Tuesday of their game against Chelsea. So to talk about tonight and Tuesday and last Wednesday in the first leg, Kay Murray joins us, who's a presenter on Real Madrid TV. Hello, Kay.
Hello there.
Hello. Just tell us a little bit about what has been the reaction, first of all, to the defeat in London against Chelsea on Wednesday by the Barcelona press?
Well, it's not reacted too badly. I think what's been more surprising, because I think that they were kind of heartened by the fact that they did have a lot of chances and they didn't really get the rub of the green. That's not to take anything away from Chelsea. Obviously, it's fantastic to beat Barcelona, especially the Barcelona of this day and age. But it's the third time in history that these two sides, Real Madrid and Barcelona, come into a Clásico on the back of losses in Europe. It's the third time in history. 23, and there's just been 3 draws, which means it's going to be a big task for Chelsea. But Real Madrid did get the away goal in Munich, which is what Chelsea didn't get. Barcelona didn't get at Stamford Bridge, so it does leave the tie wide open, really.
Chelsea played Arsenal today. It's a very insipid affair, but Chelsea made 8 changes. How many changes will Barcelona make tonight, do you think?
Well, that's the thing. They don't really have a lot of depth in the squad this season. There's been some long-term injuries. The fact that David Villa's out, he looks like he'll be coming back soon. It looks like Gerard Piqué may come back in. He sat out the first leg. He's been a little bit injured, but he can't really afford to be leaving too many out. They say that Alexis was a serious doubt before the game after picking up a knock in that game at Stamford Bridge, but they can't really afford, they don't really have that luxury of being able to rotate too much this Barcelona squad this season.
Okay, Ian is obsessed with the idea that Robin van Persie would walk straight into the Real Madrid forward line. I'm not.
Or Barcelona.
Or Barcelona. I've reminded him of who plays up front for the respective teams. And,
better than them.
And he said, yeah, well, there you go. He says he's better than them. What's your view?
I think Robin van Persie's a fantastic player, certainly one of my favourite players in the Premier League. But I mean, I work so closely with Real Madrid. Maybe it would be very difficult. I'm not too sure.
He's better than
Higuain there at the moment. Well, but Higuain doesn't get in. That's the point. Because when he plays with just one number 9, it's Benzema.
He's better than him.
And it's usually well.
Come on. Van Persie versus Benzema.
I watch Benzema week in, week out, and I've not seen many players like that in my time, I'll be honest.
This guy's a bully. He's a bully. Stick to your guns, Kay. Okay, stick to your guns. I'm with you on this. He doesn't get in as a substitute. He's a good substitute.
It's his killer instinct, the control that he has. He's phenomenal. Karim Benzema, and he's ousted Higuain, who's been a mainstay, and sometimes the two play together as well, but with Barcelona, maybe more of a chance because there's no out-and-out striker often with them. So maybe more in the
I think you've gone native, Kay. I think you've gone native there. Come back home, all's forgiven.
What about the relationship with we were laughing earlier in the week last week because of Guardiola was asked about his friend Mourinho. Tell us a little bit about their relationship and why they're perceived that they don't get on. Do they get on in any way away from the Classico matches? And also,
no, I actually think it's the biggest rivalry there's been in recent history between the two sides. There's always a huge rivalry between Real Madrid and Barcelona, but at the moment, no, I don't think there is too much love lost. Obviously, once upon a time they were good friends during their time together at Barcelona, but now it's so competitive and it means so much to each side to win here. It really does hurt to be beaten by the other. That I don't really think there's too much of a relationship and they're talking too much. Plus a lot of the fighting talk as well. You know, you don't have time for friendships when it comes to being the managers of these clubs.
Yeah, I know you've got a dash. So one final question. If the clubs, the players, the teams, the managers were, which would they rather win? La Liga or the Champions League?
They're all saying La Liga. Mourinho's highlighted La Liga as a priority, as did Pep, although he's already said that if Real Madrid win or draw here tonight, then that's the league. Goodbye for Barcelona with the league. But I think that basically for Barcelona to be able to retain the Champions League would be huge. And for Mourinho, obviously, it wouldn't just be his third Champions League with a different club. It would also be Real Madrid's unprecedented 10th European title. So even though they say the league, I don't think they're complaining too much to win the Champions League.
Fantastic. Going to be a great game. Wonder what Real Madrid will kick them off the park as usual. How many bookings? How many sending we can have a sweep on that? That's Kay Murray. Thank you, Kay, who's a presenter on Real Madrid television. 0845 6060 973. Well, I don't know. People text 84850 or call 0845 6060 973. Am I mad? Would Robin van Persie not walk into the Real Madrid and the Barcelona teams? I'm sorry. I mean,
walk into their
David
spot.
Villa. Well, he would.
Villa's been injured.
He scored. Where's he got? 39 goals in the Premier League.
You know, you
get
for
Real Madrid. He's scored 50
you're
goals.
a walking advert for the Barclays Premier League. You get caught up in this swell.
Don't you think it's harder to score goals for
hype
Arsenal? Hold on. Don't you think it's harder to score goals in the Premier League than it is to play for Barcelona or Real
How many
Madrid in
penalties
the
has he
Liga?
scored this season?
Don't know.
Okay.
Did you know the answer?
No, sorry, I don't actually know. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, he's
Listen, if
scored
anyone
27 goals. I'm not
in
disputing
the Premier League.
That is quality.
No, Messi scored 60 something this season, and that's
But you're saying he's getting the team ahead of Messi.
No, he'd play alongside Messi.
Look,
you know, he's not like for
you
like.
don't
He's a
put
centre
Robin van
forward.
Persie in the same forward line as Lionel Messi. Well, if you do,
Of course you do.
you don't.
Why not?
Because he's not in Lionel Messi's class. He's not in.
I'm not saying you replace him. I'm saying you play alongside him.
Van Persie is a very good player. I mean,
Yeah.
how long
Van
has
Persie's a centre forward.
how
And
long-
Messi's a floater, if I can use that word.
how
Sorry.
long has Robin van Persie been at Arsenal?
7 years.
Seven.
Is it?
7 years. Okay. How long have
Maybe
you
6.
waited for him to score 27 Premier League goals?
What's that got to do with anything? He scored it this season. He's in great form.
He's
At
in
the
great-
moment,
he's in great
he would
form.
get into any side in the world.
No,
Yes, he
he's a
would.
good. No, he's a good player. He'd be on the bench for
You think
Barcelona.
Benzema is
He'd be on the
better
bench
than Robin van Persie?
for Real Madrid.
Say they were both English, Benzema and Van Persie. Who would you rather have in your team? I know that you'll probably say both, but if you were Stuart Pearce, would you pick Robin van Persie or Benzema?
But there wouldn't be a great deal to choose between them. Benzema over the entire record of his
Robin van
entire
Persie
career,
played for Real
Benzema's got a
Madrid-
better goal scoring record.
If Robin
By-
van
by
Persie played for
distance.
Real Madrid this season, he'd have scored 40 goals.
Well, I mean, how many goals can his team score? I mean, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo.
189.
Yeah, Cristiano. I mean, not everybody can score goals. Cristiano
Okay.
Ronaldo takes.
Tell me what you think. 0848550. Good debate this anyway. 08456060973. We'll carry it on in the pub. In the meantime, let's talk about marathons. Rob in Maidenhead has run 5. Is that right, Rob?
Feels like 500, yeah, but it's only 5.
Brilliant. Best, worst time, most bizarre incident? Tell us some tales.
Well, the best and worst one, the first one I trained for, and you know, I'm not exactly a spring chicken, so my best time was 4:12, I think it was.
Good, very good.
Worst time was actually 5 hours. My favourite marathon was New York, which was just unbelievable.
Why?
They're just crazy. They're just crazy over there. I mean, they start applauding you from the second you walk outside the hotel room. And
You don't suppose
Yes,
when
really
you
good entrance.
the trip over to Staten Island first thing in the morning isn't much fun though, is it? When you're having to wait
No.
for hours and hours.
No, it's not. No, but it is. I mean, they are so enthusiastic and unbelievable. And the weirdest one was Paris. They just stand there looking at you. They don't clap or cheer. They just look at you.
Silly.
They get these. I don't know whether you've seen them. They get these like balloon clappers that they're supposed to bang together.
Yes.
And they just stand there looking at you with them in their hand. They don't clap them together or anything. That's kind of weird. My favourite one actually was my last London marathon. Actually, as an experience, New York is amazing, but the last London one, which I did purely because I realised that after running 4 marathons, I've never actually taken the time to look up. Yeah, you get very insular when you're running a marathon.
Yeah.
You're worried about your body and you're thinking, you know, and so I think because I've run 4, I actually realised that it was about time to run it again, actually just completely look up, and I actually enjoyed the living bejesus out there. It's fantastic.
Wow.
I was just running along, looking at people, you know, watching the rhinos overtake me backwards, serving drinks to each other. And my family were there, and I stopped to have a 10-minute chat with them. So it's a really kind of, yeah, it's a very laid-back experience. It's actually amazing.
They always say when you're walking around London, look up, because the architecture is amazing and you don't see it.
Yeah, I know.
I've been asked to ask you, Rob, about the story about running past the pub with the jazz pub. What's that all about?
Yeah, this is. I know you got 15 second hold, but don't worry, I'm going to hold the language. It is very funny. So the funniest experience. There are several of them, but you know how when you're running a marathon, you kind of run in a bubble of people, and you know you might speed up a bit or slow down a bit, but generally speaking, the people you run with are kind of the same people, and so you get to know who's doing what. And I was running along with this chap, and I wasn't talking to him anyway. I was just kind of running next to him in the general vicinity. And we ran past this pub, and this guy came charging out of this pub, ran to the edge of the road, and he said, "You," followed by about 15 expletives, literally the worst expletives you could ever imagine, shouting at the top of his voice, this guy. And I ran on for about another 15, 20 seconds. I looked over at this guy and goes, "So what was that all that?" He goes, "Yeah, my brother. He always does that."
Is that encouragement?
See,
Or is
yeah,
it actual
motivation.
Pure venom?
It wasn't. Let me just tell you, if that was motivation, I'd hate to hear someone having a go at somebody.
See, I think the best thing, if I ever did the marathon again, the tip that I learned that I wish I'd done was you wear a T-shirt and across it, however you want to do it in a marker pen or get it done professionally. You put your name or your nickname so that when people see you and they run by, they say, "Come on, monkey boy," or whatever your name happens to be. "Come on, Ed." And it just gives you that little lift. And I was running alongside a guy, and every time he had his name read out, he just got a little sort of boost. And I wish I'd done that. Did you ever do that?
No, yeah, I did that twice. The first couple I didn't. You don't have to in America. You know, they just, you know, they're so ridiculously enthusiastic here.
Get in the hole.
It's Woo Central. Seriously, it's like watching John Daly hit a drive. But no, they're all crazy. But yeah, it's funny. You put your name on there, and people do start shouting things out to you. Of course, you can write something funny, like, you know, like the Reverend Rob or something.
Exactly. Rev Rob. Text us in. Thanks, Rob. Text us in. What would you put on your shirt? It has to be clean, obviously, because otherwise I can't read it out. But what would you put on your shirt to get attention? Neil?
I actually put my nickname when I first went to the Daily Mail was the Earl. And,
why?
Have we got time for travel to tell you? I don't know.
Let's wait.
Yeah.
Actually, let's tempt listeners.
Tease them in.
Stay with us. Tease, that's the word.
I'll tell you
stay
why
with us.
Nicknamed the Earl.
Neil Ashton will tell us why he's nicknamed the Earl. 5:45. In the LBC 97.3 travel centre, it's the Duke. Russell Holding.
Oh, it's nice. Cheers, Ian. On the A13, the bus lane is blocked eastbound by an accident on East India Dock Road in Poplar. It doesn't look like it's causing that much of a delay. Southbound traffic, they're queuing into the Blackwall Tunnel back to Bromley by Bow. Dollis Hill Lane is closed each way off the Edgware Road because of an accident. And on the A406 North Circular Road, there are westbound queues from Park Royal to Hanger Lane. And it's looking slow from the Chiswick roundabout up to Ealing Common. Now, on the Euston Road, traffic's queuing east from the Euston Underpass to King's Cross. The Mel's closed in preparation for tomorrow's marathon, and there are severe delays on the Bakerloo line between Harrow and Wilston and Queen's Park because of a signalling problem. Trains are suspended between Liverpool Street and both Seven Sisters and Walthamstow Central for engineering work. Also, London Overground services suspended between Watford Junction and Queen's Park, and between Willesden Junction and Richmond, and the District line suspended between Turnham Green and Richmond, again because of engineering work. LBC 97.3 travel. Your next update's in half an hour. This is LBC 97.3.
Hurry now for EasyJet's Super Spring deals. We've got 2.6 million seats from $23.49 one way for travel between May 9th and July 11th, 2012. Book now while stocks last. Europe by EasyJet. Where are you going? Availability and prices correct at 12th April 2012 based on 2 people flying on same booking. Credit card fees may apply. Terms apply. See website.
Hello?
It's your tenant, Mr. Smith. Oh, the boiler's broken.
It's 3 a.m. It's not always easy being a landlord, but British Gas can help. For £1 a month, we'll check your property's boiler and issue a gas safety certificate. Just get our boiler cover for £13 a month. Any problems, we'll arrange repairs, including parts and labour. Call 0800 197 11110 or search for British Gas Landlords. Exclusion, conditions and limitations apply. Look after your world with British Gas.
At Peugeot, we want all our customers to drive away happy. So we created Just Add Fuel to take the hassle out of running a car. For a fixed monthly amount, you can choose a new Peugeot with 3 years insurance, road tax, warranty, servicing and roadside assistance, which only leaves the odd trip to the petrol station. Just Add Fuel. Only from Peugeot.
Qualifying criteria, driver eligibility, excess mileage and model restrictions apply. Representative 10.4% APR. Significant deposit required. Underwritten by UK Insurance Limited. Written quotations from Peugeot Financial Services. A guarantee may be required.
LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060973. Scores with Blue Pen.
And these are the scores. I know you're going to have to wait for that tantalising tidbit from Neil. Why is he called the Earl? We'll find out in a minute. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0, Villa 0, Sunderland 0. Hope it's more exciting than those 2 games. Blackburn 2, Norwich 0, Bolton 1, Swansea 1, Fulham 2, Wigan 1, and Newcastle beat Stoke 3-0. Their 6th win in a row, Newcastle. Queen's Park Rangers and Tottenham, 18 minutes old, and it's Queen's Park Rangers, sorry, 17. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Tottenham 0. In the Championship, Southampton already 1-0 up at Middlesbrough. Billy Sharp has scored for them. They're approaching half-time there. Remember, if Southampton win that, that's it for West Ham. they cannot go up automatically. Elsewhere, Cardiff and Leeds drew 1-1. Blackpool beat Burnley 4-0. Brighton and Birmingham drew 1-1. Coventry lost at home to Doncaster by 2-0. They're relegated. So are Doncaster, and so are Portsmouth, who lost at home to Derby by 2-1. So in the playoff places, it's West Ham, Blackpool, Birmingham and Cardiff. Reading and Southampton look like they're going up automatically. The bottom three, we know who are already down: Doncaster, Coventry and Portsmouth. In League One, champions are Charlton. They had a 2-1 win against Wycombe today. Sheffield United managed to lose but still stay second with 88 points. They're 9 points behind Charlton. Sheffield Wednesday have got 85 points, 3 points behind, 2 games to go. The London clubs, Leyton Orient drew 2-2 with Yeovil. Charlton, as I say, beat Wycombe by 2-1, and Brentford lost 2-1 at Stevenage. In League Two, Wimbledon beat Torquay 2-0. Dagenham and Redbridge and Crawley drew 1-1. Swindon lost 3-1 at Gillingham, but they're still top. And of course, Celtic champions in Scotland. Rangers won 3-0 at Hearts, and Dunfermline and St Mirren drew 4-4, but Dunfermline look like they're going down, still 6 points behind Hibs. Right, for all those of you who've been waiting with bated breath and not going out the room, or you know those times when you're listening to a really interesting piece of radio and you go, I can't get out the car yet, so you park it and you sit back. Did you know that feeling? It's been one of those moments the last 3 minutes.
Yep.
Neil Ashton of the Daily Mail will now reveal why he was called the Earl.
Well, yeah, so when I moved to the Daily Mail and my new colleagues wanted to know a little bit more about me, because well, it's not that good, but there was a story that did the rounds among journalists in Fleet Street that as my boss drank Earl Grey tea, that I'd migrated from the Commonweal Garden Tetley tea bag to drink Earl Grey tea, just like my boss.
Posh.
Indeed. So this story sort of did the rounds in Fleet Street without my knowledge, and then I was introduced to some journalists who were on my sort of first few days at the Mail. This is way back in 2004, and was introduced as the Earl. So like that. So anyway,
no, it's good. It's good.
I put that on my
marriage certificate
on my marathon
entry
on my marathon shirt, so that people would shout, "Go on the Earl." But unfortunately for me, I wrote "go" and "on" too tightly together on the shirt, because quite
goons
because of my friend. So I had, for 26 miles, I had people who said, "Goon, Earl, goon," and I was so.
My name is Earl.
Yeah, my name is.
Don't you think Esso Okoto looks like a crab man?
He actually looks like someone I played tennis against a few weeks ago.
Well, everyone will know him then. I give you a brilliant looking like and you come up with that.
Someone I played tennis against.
Someone I played
he
tennis
does actually,
with.
Yeah. Bradley Cumberbatch. He's got the same. Bradley, yeah, he's got the same haircut.
Brother of?
Well, he certainly has got a brother.
Is he the brother of the Sherlock Holmes actor?
I didn't.
Cumberbatch?
I didn't ask. I didn't stop to ask. We didn't have enough time given the scoreline.
We digress. I was called Pin Size when I was at school because I was so thin.
Pin Size.
Pin Size. My brother was called Needle Size, and then when I was at university I was called Snitterton. From Vince Snitterton Lewis. He's a Monty Python character. It's a long story and it involved trying to get a date with a girl, which I won't go into.
Moonface at school.
Moonface. Very nice. Because your face actually looked like
the moon, yeah.
Really?
Apparently, I don't know.
What's that Jimmy Carr joke when he says, I've got the biggest head in comedy? No, I literally have got the biggest head in comedy. Right, eating bananas today, lots of pasta too, will give you the energy to finish the marathon, says Andrew. What's a good food to eat for the marathon, for anyone out there who might be considering running? Well, probably is running.
Yeah, you've got to load up on the predictable, the jacket potato with rice and plenty of pasta. And certainly I would that's the big pre-race meal, and get up early in the morning and definitely have some toast. And if you I believe that you've got to treat yourself. Don't listen. The hydration experts will say, do not have a cup of coffee, do not have a cup of tea, don't go near it. Look, if you want to kickstart your day with a nice cup of tea in the morning, it's going to make you feel good before your marathon, because that's what you always do every day.
Yeah.
Just have your nice cup of tea. Don't deprive yourself. I mean, if you're looking to run 2 hours 10, probably best not to have that cup of tea. However, look, if you want to go and enjoy your day, have a great day running the marathon, which you will, because it is one of the great events that this country puts on, and you know we boast this event to the whole world. Have your cup of tea; it won't do you any harm whatsoever.
I think the great memory, apart from losing. Oh, Queen's Park Rangers have just scored direct from a free kick. It's Queen's Park Rangers 1, Spurs 0. Is that Harold Tarat, number 7? It is Harold Tarat. And a banner being held up by one of the QPR faithful. The R's are staying up. Well, they've beaten Liverpool at home. They came from 2-0 down that time, of course. They've had some fantastic victories recently, and they beat Arsenal too. Can they beat Spurs too, says my depressed Spurs supporting producer. I don't know. That's why I'm missing QPR. Great free kick.
This slide that Tottenham are on, this is unbelievable. It's a brilliant free kick. Friedel will feel perhaps that he should have spotted this earlier, because it's a long way out. It's taken that annoying dip, hasn't it? So it's dipped right on the line,
just in front of him.
And so it's not the best height for Friedel, but you look at the celebrations as well that Tarat off the field celebrating with Mark Hughes, the QPR coaching staff.
Eddie Nijibeski, do you remember him?
Yes, yeah.
Exactly the same age as he did 15 years ago.
Lovely guy Eddie as well. One of the nice guys in football.
His tiny finger, his little finger is at a right angle because of when he was in goal.
Right.
Broke it.
Right. I don't know.
Can't hold
Can
the
they put it back?
properly. Can they put it back? They're too late now.
Too late now. Yes. Okay, well, I didn't know that. But brilliant start to this game for QPR. Brilliant goal. It's the magic moments that you need to be able to stay up, to stay in the Premier League.
Look at them closing down. The Spurs have just given the ball away. It seems another attack for Queen's Park Rangers. Spurs need to just wake it up a little bit. It's Queen's Park Rangers 1, Spurs 0 after 24 minutes. Ledley King, I don't know. Ledley King? Question mark?
Yeah, because not because we want to see Ledley King out of the game, because that's unfortunately will be that's the final option for him, isn't it? In this incredible kind of career that he's had, and his determination and willpower has got him through a lot of football matches. But if we're judging it on an FA Cup semi, if we're judging it on the game against Arsenal, then we would be saying that we're seeing a player in decline. But I don't think we can just isolate the two matches.
They always say you're too good to go. You're never too good to go down. I think QPR are too good to go down. I just think with the players they've got and the investment that they probably will get over the summer, compared to some of the other sides, but Bolton, Blackburn and Wolves for me. That's my thoughts on it at the moment. What do you think? Let us know. The situation at the bottom of the table is as follows. Wolves have 23 points, Bolton have 30, Blackburn have 31, Queen's Park Rangers will have 34 if they win this game. Long way to go. Wigan have 34, they lost today. Aston Villa have 36, they drew yet again. Mazza, who's actually got 4 Z's in his or her name presumably, said, I came down from Scotland to support my brother-in-law who's running tomorrow. Good luck to everyone. Yeah, absolutely. Good luck to everyone. The other memory that I have of the marathon, well, there's a couple of memories. One was hitting the wall, as they say, when your muscles just go in your legs. I remember it was specific. I ran through the city very fast, got to about 19.5 miles. I crossed over this tiny little sort of bridge, and then I remember going, ooh, I can't feel my thighs. And I just lost all power. And I remember getting to a sort of filling station and being handed a Lucozade, and I looked up, it was Johnny Wilkinson, and he went, hello, because I sort of vaguely knew him, and I went, I couldn't talk, I just went, and that was it. He was like, a bit rude. Yeah. And the other memory I have is that as soon as you know when you're in Greenwich Park, aren't you, before you start? Yep. And you're all queuing to get on, and you hear the starter's gun, and you take about 40 minutes for you to cross the start line. It's that many people trying to cross through. By which time you've filled up on water so much, you haven't done any running, all you've done is shuffle to get to... As soon as you hit the start and there's a clear road in front of you, what do you want to do? Yeah. And the whole side for about the first mile of the marathon are just men relieving themselves. Yes, I don't know where the women go. No, to be honest.
Well, mostly they put water cabins on the side.
Not enough. I mean, not 10,000 water cabins.
No, but if you're, I don't know. I guess
women are brilliant at that.
Yeah, the Paula Radcliffe moment. I don't know. Perhaps we could ask somebody to come on and explain.
Yeah, we'll see how that call goes, shall we? We'll put that on a delay.
Yes, we'll definitely put up.
Your marathon stories, they don't have to be relieving stories. They can be any sort of story at all. You heard the one there about swearing abuse just to get his brother to go a little bit faster. At least we think it was encouragement. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you when you've been running? What's the most bizarre person you've ever seen overtake you or the most important? What were we
Where it
hearing in
gets
the
tough-
news?
Where it gets tough to Maureen is when
23
you
miles?
when you turn right after Tower Bridge, and you head down towards Canary Wharf, and as you get down to Canary Wharf, you almost get back to you're on the other side of the river, sure, but you're almost back at the start of the marathon. As you get into Camden Square, Canary Wharf, and it gets very quiet, doesn't it, with the crowds? You remember going? It's the kind of the back end of the marathon.
See, I liked Canary Wharf because that's when I had my burst.
Yeah, I didn't like running. This kind of it really empties out before you get back into Canary Wharf.
But when you cross the bridge for the first time, Tower Bridge, and you see all those people already on their way back.
Yes.
And that probably didn't happen to you, did it?
Yes, it did. No, you don't see as many people. You see, it's quite spread out.
There were thousands with me.
Yeah.
Thousands. There's thousands at QPR, about 18,000. They've had the lowest crowd of the season now, but they're winning, and they might be staying up. They're beating Tottenham, who are a terrible run by a goal to nil. Adel Tarrant has just scored it. They're half an hour into that game. Southampton 1-0 up in their game at Middlesbrough. Half-time there. If it stays like that, West Ham cannot go up automatically. We'll keep you up to date with all the scores all the time. We've got half an hour to go. Give us a call, text, tweet or email with your marathon stories.
On FM, online and digital radio, London's biggest conversation. This is LBC 97.3.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening, I'm Zora Suleiman. British Foreign Secretary William Hague has said he's spoken to the Bahraini Foreign Minister and urged restraint and dialogue with the opposition. It comes as police in Bahrain fired tear gas on protesters during fresh clashes ahead of tomorrow's Formula One Grand Prix. Up to 150 protesters were reported to be facing off against 50 police in jeeps during the violence outside the capital of Manama. Violence erupted after an anti-government protester was found dead after overnight clashes between police and protesters. There are now claims he was killed by pellets fired by riot police. Talking to Ian, F1 correspondent for The Times, Kevin Euston says he's working alongside a lot of concerned people.
Publicly, the team's put on a united front, but we know that there's a lot of unease among some of the team principals, and there's certainly unease amongst the regular guys, the mechanics and the catering staff, and all those people who turn the wheels on this sport and make it happen.
Speaking outside the F1's HQ in Knightsbridge, human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell told LBC 97.3 the race must be stopped.
I don't believe the Grand Prix should go ahead, particularly since the Bahrain security services have threatened to use live ammunition to shoot protesters if necessary. There's a really high risk that people will be killed. In these circumstances, making money for Bernie Eccleston should not be allowed to trump human rights.
A man is in a critical condition in hospital after being found with head injuries in Haringey. The man in his 30s was found by police officers on patrol in the early hours of this morning. A 29-year-old has been arrested. A former Home Secretary has told LBC 97.3 he thinks Theresa May will have no choice but to resign from the cabinet because of her handling of the Abu Qatada affair. Mrs May has insisted Qatada's lawyers missed the week's deadline to appeal his deportation to Jordan to stand trial for terrorism offences. Most legal opinion points to the Home Secretary wrongly judging the cut-off time and that the appeal should be accepted under the rules of the European Court. One of May's Labour predecessors, Alan Johnson, says it's only a matter of time before she has to go.
I do. And I wouldn't say that lightly, because if you've done the job, you have enormous sympathy for the soldiers doing it now. But this is so serious, because if it is as we think it now looks, that they got the dates wrong, then the person with the prime responsibility of deporting this guy, rather than help that process, has hindered it.
The daughter of Lord Ashley of Stoke has paid tribute to her father, who's died at the age of 89. The Labour peer was the first deaf MP and a disabled rights campaigner. Labour leader Ed Miliband called him an outstanding servant to the party. Caroline Ashley says her father always tried to lead by example.
I hope he'll be remembered for speaking up. And I hope he'll be remembered remembered as an inspiration to show that if you have your own disability, you don't have to give up. Because that's what he wanted. He wanted the world to know that just because he was deaf, it didn't mean he didn't count.
The owners of the Costa Concordia cruise ship say work to remove it from the rocks where it capsized in January will start next month and take a year to complete. 32 passengers and crew died, and the bodies of 2 others have not been found after the vessel was grounded when the captain sailed too close to the shore of an island off Tuscany. An American salvage firm plans to remove the huge line in one piece and tow it to a port in Italy. A quick look at London's weather tonight. A chance of showers, but mainly dry. Lows of 5. Right now at the Tower of London, it is 13 degrees. LBC 97.3. It's 3 minutes past 6.
LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060973. Text 84850. Scores with Ian Penn.
And here are the scores from the Barclays Premier League. 34 minutes gone approximately at Loftus Road. So Joey Barton gets attention for a head injury. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Spurs 0. And the goal scorer, Adel Taarabt. Elsewhere today in the Premier League, Arsenal and Chelsea drew 0-0. Aston Villa and Sunderland drew 0-0. Blackburn, vital win for them, beating Norwich 2-0. Bolton and Swansea drew 1-1. And Fulham came from behind to beat in-form Wigan 2-1. Newcastle won again. They beat Stoke by 3-0. So the top of the table looks like this. Manchester United, who play tomorrow at home to Everton at 12:30, have 82 points. Manchester City, who at 4 o'clock play at Wolves, have 77 points. Then it's Arsenal 65 points, Newcastle 62 with a game in hand, Tottenham 59, Chelsea 58. It's getting very, very close. At the bottom, Wolves 23, Bolton 30, Blackburn 31, QPR will have 34 if they win this, Wigan 34, and Aston Villa 36. Now, I talked about running the marathon. A lot of preparation. You have to get ready, you have to eat the right things, you have to sleep well, you have to prepare yourself in the right way. How about running a marathon tomorrow? And then on Wednesday, you're going to run another marathon. That's what my friend Will's going to do. How are you feeling?
Oh, I've just woken up from one of my Hampstead Heath meditations. And people are saying I'm crazy, mad as a box of frogs.
What are you doing it for? Why are you doing both?
Well, initially I went down to the Manchester Marathon, and some friends from work with him at the first one. It was such a long time ago that I thought, that I'm so far off, I thought it'll be fine, the training will be fine, and it just flowed upon me, and it's here tomorrow. So I'm doing it for a charity called Look, so basically impact kids, and it's just here. I can't believe it's happened so quickly, to be honest.
You've lost a stone, haven't you?
Lost a stone, yeah. Well, I'm going to lose more tomorrow. You lose about, you've done a marathon before.
Just one?
You lose about 2 kilograms doing a race, which is a hell of a lot of weight, and I'm probably going to lose about 5 doing the 2 of them. But it's not good for you.
No, it's not good for you. I just wonder what sort of medical advice have you had, seriously, Will? I mean, physiologically, doing one is pretty bad, but for the joints and all your tendons, doing 2 in that quicker short space of time is bad for you.
Yeah, but it's definitely not going to be anything your legs, your ankles, the compression on your knees. I mean, it's like jumping up and down on a piece of concrete for 4 hours. I'm doing it again the next week, but 10 years I did 43 in 51 days or something like that. And the guy I follow on Twitter, he did 100 marathons in 100 days, and on London Marathon on Sunday he's completing his 100th in 100 days, which just seems absolutely crazy.
So he did his 99th today?
He did his 90, I don't know where he did it, but he did his 99th today. He's doing it for the St. Francis Hospice, and he raised 100 grand, and he's doing his 100 from 46-year-old guy doing his 100.
He's raised £100,000 only?
Yeah, incredible, huh? Only.
Well, he's running 100 marathons.
Yeah, a grand a day for 100 days.
That's a great effort.
Well, Neil's here. Neil's run 4 marathons. He's got. What time are you hoping to do, Will?
I will be really upset if it reads 4 something. It's got to read 3 something.
For both marathons?
For the first one. I'll be lucky to get around the second one. It's fine. But,
Okay, well, what's the
what I heard is it's just so hard, London, to get a good time because, you know, you start and you're winding around people for the first 20 minutes that, you know, that takes about 20 minutes off your time.
Yeah, I think one of the what I used to do, Will, is so you know you get nominated with the pen. It tells you which time. So obviously, if you're an elite athlete, you'll be in the first pen, and then it goes back depending on what time you predict. I actually would go in the pen behind the one that I was predicted to run my race in. So people sort of in the 3:10, 3:15 category, I would put myself in the 3:15 to 3:30 because that way you run an entire marathon going past people, because there's nothing more disillusioning than putting yourself in the same pen as athletes who will run past you for the entire race. I mean, it's disconcerting. So I always put myself in a slower pen because that way I would go past people, and that makes you feel like you're going on to, you know, you're beating people. I mean, it's not, you know, not that competitive, but it just gives you that kind of extra lift as you're going around. And then so for 26 miles you're consistently going past people and catching, you know, you feel as though you're catching people up, and you are.
The key will be, won't it, if you feel a niggle halfway through the London Marathon, you know, and praise, well, you don't, but if you did feel a niggle, would you consider stopping or not, or are you just determined to do this no matter what?
What do you think? You know me, Davey.
I think you'll carry on.
There's no way. I've had certainly for work. You know, even if I get out the second one, just hobbling around, I'll get around it, and you know, I've raised money for both of them, not just for the one of them. So
well,
unless it was something really serious.
Yeah. Have you been disciplined with your training schedule? Have you followed it?
You're running around Cumbria, the Lake District.
I've been running around Brazil, running around Switzerland. Everywhere I've been away, I've been doing a bit of not specifically going away for the running, but when I've been on holiday, I've been running at top summits, up and down mountains, around the Lake District. I've done, you know, I wouldn't say I've been really disciplined in terms of, you know, I've looked at a lot of marathon training plans since, but I've not done that in terms of, you know, running, sprinting for half an hour and then slowing down and all that. But I know I've got the distance in my legs. It's just that time. It's probably going to frustrate me. If it is over 4 hours, that's going to really set me back. The training, as you guys know, is absolutely brutal. You know, the food, I've had to remortgage with the amount of food I've eaten.
It is. Well, listen, all the very best. I really mean that. Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, good luck
and even better.
Make sure you enjoy it
in Manchester. Yeah, enjoy it if you can, and make sure you've got your name on your T-shirt, because that always gives us a boost. Good luck, mate.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy your marathon?
I loved it up until I hit the wall. Yeah. I absolutely loved it. I loved the first, because I was funnily enough, I was running with another friend of mine for the first, how many miles was it? The first 11 to 12 miles. 14 miles, and we were going quite slowly because he had a bit of a knee injury, so he was going quite slowly, so I was just jogging along, so I was well within my range. And after 14 miles he was really struggling, and I said to him, look, do you mind if I try and get some sort of time here? And he said, no, go for it. So from 14 miles to 19 miles I wasn't sprinting, but I was close to, I was in horse terms, I was cantering. I wasn't galloping, but I was nearly there. And running through the city and running through Canary Wharf, I was overtaking every single runner. There was nobody running faster than me. I was overtaking, you know, and it was the greatest, one of the nicest feelings I've ever had in my life. It was absolutely fantastic. It was like flying, you know, floating in the air. It was that, and then suddenly, whack! It just hit me.
Yeah.
Just bringing other things back to earth with a bump. Claims for was that a claim for a penalty?
It's a claim for a free kick, which Tottenham have got in a pretty
right-hand side of the box, only about 2 yards though from the goal line, and Spurs need something, and they need something just before half-time, some sort of boost. It's Queen's Park Rangers, Spurs. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Spurs 0. Adel Taarabt has just got that yellow card, who got the goal straight from the free kick. This is Rafa van der Vaart trying to curl this dangerously with his left foot into the area to see if Spurs can get a similar result. I don't think it's a direct free kick. The ball's in and it's headed up and away by Queen's Park Rangers. This is a really important game, isn't it, for both of these sides? Possibly more, well, I wouldn't say more important for QPR, but in terms of survival, their home form is the key.
Well, for survival, because Blackburn, after the victory over Norwich, they're also on 31 points. Bolton's draw, so they're on 30. I mean, this would be a huge day for QPR if they can hold on to this lead or even build on it against Spurs. Seeing Spurs just come back into the game in the as we would anticipate over the last few minutes, that they will continue to put a bit of pressure on QPR's defence. But the importance, it depends who you're involved with. If you're a QPR manager, QPR supporter, Spurs manager, they will attach equal importance to this. If Tottenham don't get something out of this game, that takes them on to 34 games, 4 games left of the season. They're not out of this top 4, but the fact is, they just blow it.
What will their record be? Phil, what's their record in the last 8 or 9 games? He's watching the game, he's so into it, he can't even listen to me. I mean,
we're struggling to think of wins, aren't we?
Well, they beat Swansea, didn't they?
Yeah, Newcastle.
That Tottenham.
Yeah.
But since the Arsenal game,
it's the, a couple of FA Cup ties, and that's it. This
Premier League victories since the Arsenal defeat. How many have there been? There haven't been many. Is it 2? I would say maximum. 08456060973. If you want to talk about Tottenham, if you want to talk about Queen's Park Rangers, you want to talk about running the marathon, let's finish off with a nice story, shall we, about running the marathon. You heard from my friend Will there, who's, as I say, doing his first London Marathon tomorrow, and then he's going to do the Manchester Marathon, or a Manchester Marathon.
He's making me itch, because I haven't done it. I haven't run the marathon for a while now.
Making me itch?
Yeah, because I'm
envy.
Yeah, I'm very envious. Yeah, I've got some friends running it tomorrow, and they'll have a great day. And all of a sudden, it's been a long time since I've done some long distance runs like that, and it's kind of putting me in the mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to take it up again?
I've never.
This happens to me every April. It's not running with me. It's golf. As soon as we get a flicker of sunshine and I watch the Masters, I go, oh, do you know what? I'd like to play golf again. Yeah. So I get out there, go on the range, down in Chiswick. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. And I get annoyed, throw my clubs and think, what's the point?
Yeah, I was going to do Brighton in 2010. I got an ankle injury, it ruled me out. I couldn't run for 6 weeks, and I also couldn't play tennis for 6. I had those things, and I had to pull out the Brighton Marathon, unfortunately. That was my last. Yeah, that was the last time I was due to run one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you've got a marathon story, if you've got any story, if you've got a weather gets nice, you want to go out and do a sports story, tell us. Queen's Park Rangers leading Tottenham by a 1-0. Adam Tarrant getting the only goal, and still Southampton winning at Middlesbrough by a 1-0. It's 6:15. In the LBC 97.3 Travel Centre, for the last time on this programme, Russell Holding.
Well, hi, in on the A4, traffic's queuing in both directions towards the Hammersmith flyover. Into town, it's back to the Hogarth roundabout. Out of town, back to North End Road. And on Fulham Palace Road, traffic's queuing into the Hammersmith one-way system. Now, on the A406 North Circular Road, there are westbound queues from Park Royal to Hanger Lane. Also looking slow from the Chiswick roundabout up to Ealing Common. And on the Euston Road, traffic's queuing east from the Euston underpass to King's Cross. Dollis Hill Lane's closed each way off the Edgware Road because of an accident, and on the A13 the bus lane is blocked eastbound by an accident on East India Dock Road in Poplar. Southbound traffic's queuing into the Blackwall Tunnel back to Bromley by Bow. There are severe delays on the Bakerloo line between Harrow and Wilston and Queen's Park because of a signal failure. The district line suspended between Turnham Green and Richmond for engineering works. So is London Overground between Willesden Junction and Richmond, and between Watford Junction and Queen's Park. And trains suspended between Liverpool Street and both Seven Sisters and Walthamstow Central, again for engineering work. LBC 97.3 Travel. Your next update is in half an hour.
This is LBC 97.3.
What sets Peterman's apart from other estate agents? For 50 years, it's been one thing: service. Service is our commitment to getting clients the right price and landlords the right tenants. It's understanding everything about the areas we cover, and it's knowing that selling a house takes more than just a picture. Peterman's Estate Agents, residential and commercial sales and lettings, specialising in Herne Hill, Edgware and surrounding areas. Visit petermans.co.uk. Your move, our motivation.
At Barnes Rove Chartered Accountants, we realise that the best business tax planning must be done before your accounting year-end takes place, not afterwards. That's why we offer our clients a pre-year-end tax planning meeting to avoid nasty surprises before it's too late. After all, our clients like to keep as much of what they earn as possible. Wouldn't you? To book your free appraisal, go to barnesrove.com/radio. Barnes Rove. Clever accountants for business.
The Bupa Wellbeing Hour on LBC 97.3. Expert advice for London, because healthy can mean so many things.
You could have low pain in the feet, especially at night.
Plantar fasciitis is actually quite a common condition. You can buy small straps that you can put on overnight, and they can help relieve some of the pain. Make sure that plantar fascia is kept supple and straight.
Helping you find healthy with Ian Dale and Bupa's Dr. Snay. Tuesday evenings at 9 on LBC 97.3.
LBC 97.3. Call 0845 6060973. Scores with Ian Payne.
Actually, Ian Dale will be very happy with this latest bit of news, because Middlesbrough have just equalised against Southampton at the start of the second half of their game at the Riverside Stadium. So it's Middlesbrough 1, Southampton 1. If it's a draw, it means West Ham still have an outside chance of qualifying automatically for the Premier League via promotion. But if Southampton win, that means that they can't. They'll have to go through the playoffs. They won't be able to catch them. Reading already promoted, as we know. Ian not on tonight, but here's another Ian Collins will be on in about 10 minutes' time. And he's asking if we are seeing the return of the ruling elite, as the boys from the Burlington club, is it Bullington or Burlington? It is Bullington, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the Bullington club. You know, the sort of posh eat things and smash it up club, you know, like Oxford. So we're once again calling the shots. Private schools are apparently now the preserve of the super rich. Are we returning to a Victorian ruling class? He also wants to know if the word marriage can ever be redefined. And after the death of guitar legend Burt Wheaton, he wants to hear from you if the great man inspired you to take up the hobby. That's all coming up with Ian Collins at 6:30 this evening.